The Forgotten Pup asterisk asterisk. It's a cold evening in a small, forgotten town on the outskirts of a bustling city. The last vestiges of daylight slip beneath the horizon, leaving only the pale glow of streetlights. As the world seems to wind down for the night, a small, trembling creature huddles in the shadows, just beyond the safety of the warm homes. It's a dog, dirty and thin, its fur matted from weeks, maybe months, of neglect. No collar, no identification, just a small creature, abandoned, alone, and starving. In the last few hours, she had been wandering the streets aimlessly, searching for something, anything, that could help her survive. But she had no idea that tonight would be the night her life would change forever. Her ribs were visible beneath her dull coat. Each breath, she took a laborious task. She could feel the biting cold creeping into her bones. But she couldn't stop moving. She had to keep going. Every now and then, she would stumble across a food wrapper or a discarded bone. But nothing was enough to fill the hollow ache in her stomach. Every step felt like an eternity, and yet she couldn't stop. As she limped down a narrow alley, a flicker of movement caught her eye. A figure, a man, dressed in a faded jacket and worn boots, his face hidden in the shadows. For a moment, she froze, unsure of whether to approach or run. She had learned the hard way that not all humans were kind. Some were cruel, others indifferent. But then there were those who had the ability to change everything. The man took a step forward, his eyes soft and filled with concern. He didn't speak right away, just crouched down in front of her, allowing her to approach at her own pace. His hand extended, palm up, in a gesture of peace. The dog watched him for a moment, her heart pounding in her chest. Could she trust him? Finally, the hunger won. She took a hesitant step forward, sniffing the air for any signs of danger. The man didn't make any sudden moves, his gaze never wavering. She could sense that he meant no harm. Slowly, she approached, trembling as she got closer. His hand gently brushed her fur, and in that moment, something shifted. She no longer felt entirely alone. "Hey there, little one," the man murmured, his voice soft and comforting. "You look like you've had a rough time, haven't you?" The dog's eyes, filled with confusion and fear, met his. He smiled gently and opened a small bag of food, placing it before her. The smell of warm meat and fresh water overwhelmed her senses, and without a second thought, she devoured it, hardly aware of the man's presence. Old never give up on her, no matter what.
As she ate, the man continued to speak softly, telling her that she was safe now. The fear in her heart slowly began to subside as she realized that, perhaps for the first time in her life, someone truly cared. The warmth of his voice, combined with the food in her belly, made her feel like maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as invisible as she had always felt. The man's name was Alex, and he had been volunteering at a local animal shelter for years. Over time, he had seen countless dogs come and go, many of them with heartbreaking stories of abuse and abandonment, but none had struck him quite like this one. Her eyes were full of fear, but beneath that fear was a glimmer of hope, a hope that things could be different, that her life didn't have to be a lonely, endless cycle of pain. After a few more moments of cautious eating, the dog, who Alex would later name Bella, seemed to grow tired. She curled up at his feet, still unsure of what was happening, but trusting him enough to fall asleep for the first time in what felt like forever. Her breathing steadied, and for the first time in months, she didn't feel like she was simply surviving. She felt cared for. As Alex gently lifted her into his arms and carried her to his van, he couldn't help but think about how many dogs like Bella had crossed his path, dogs who had once known nothing but hardship and abandonment. He promised her silently that he would do everything he could to make sure she would never have to live that way again. She was safe now. But what Alex didn't know was that Bella's journey wasn't over yet. She had a long road ahead of her, one filled with challenges, but also with people who would love her as much as he already did. And as he drove toward the shelter, Bella nestled in his lap. Her eyes closed in peaceful slumber, Alex made a vow. He would never give up on her no matter what. Part 2. The first step towards healing. Bella's first night at the shelter was peaceful, though she couldn't help but wake up every few hours. Her instincts still on high alert, the soft bedding beneath her and the quiet hum of the shelter's lights were comforting, But she couldn't shake the fear that had been her constant companion for so long. When she woke up the next morning, she was greeted by soft voices and the scent of fresh food. Alex was there, as he had promised, sitting beside her bed and talking to her in that soothing voice. His presence brought her comfort. But she was still unsure of what to make of this new world. Everything was different now. The people here, the smells, the sounds, it was all new, and she wasn't sure whether it was safe. But Alex's gentle touch, combined with the food he provided, gave her the courage to begin taking tiny steps forward. The first day at the shelter was spent in quiet recovery. She was given a warm bath, which she had desperately needed, and a thorough checkup by the shelter's veterinarian, who assured Alex that Bella was in decent health despite her emaciated state. As days passed, Bella began to trust Alex more. She would wag her tail when he entered the room, though she still kept a safe distance from other people. It was clear that her heart had been broken, but there was something in her, a flicker of hope, that Alex clung to. He knew that this was only the beginning of her journey, and he would be there every step of the way. Over the next few weeks, Alex worked with Bella to help her gain trust in others. Slowly, she began to interact with the other volunteers at the shelter, and while she still preferred Alex's company, she started to show signs of the joyful, playful dog she was meant to be. Every day, Alex would take her for short walks outside, and little by little, Bella became more confident, more curious about the world around her. And then, one day, something incredible happened. As Alex sat in the shelter's office, reviewing adoption applications for other dogs, Bella approached him with a soft whine. She stood in front of him, her eyes wide, her tail wagging. It was the first time she had ever approached him without hesitation, without fear. Alex knelt down and Bella nuzzled her face into his hand, as if to say, "Thank you." Part 3, A Forever Home Awaits. As the days turned into weeks, Bella blossomed under Alex's care. Her coat grew fuller, her ribs no longer visible. Her eyes, once hollow with fear, now glimmered with curiosity and joy. But despite the progress she had made, one question remained. Would Bella find a forever home? Would someone be able to give her the love and care she deserved? As it turned out, the answer came sooner than anyone expected. One rainy afternoon, a family walked into the shelter. They had seen Bella's story online and were moved by her journey. They were looking for a dog that could be a companion for their children, and something about Bella's gentle spirit spoke to them. When they met her, Bella immediately approached them, her tail wagging cautiously. She was still hesitant with strangers, but the warmth and love in their eyes made her feel safe. After several visits and some time spent getting to know Bella, the family decided they were ready to bring her home. They were kind and patient, understanding that Bella needed time to adjust. Alex, though heartbroken at the thought of letting her go, knew that this was what Bella needed. It was time for her to start a new chapter of her life. The day Bella left the shelter was bittersweet. As Alex watched her ride away with her new family, he felt a mixture of joy and sadness. He had worked so hard to help her heal, to give her the best chance at happiness, and now she was going to have the life she had always deserved. Part 4. The Transformation. Months passed, and Alex continued his work at the shelter, but he never forgot about Bella. He followed her journey through the occasional update from her new family. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Bella had become an integral part of the family. She had gone from a frightened, starving pup on the streets to a beloved member of a loving home. The children adored her, and they made sure she felt safe and cared for every single day. Bella, in turn, gave them an unconditional love that only a rescue dog could offer. As the seasons changed, Bella's coat became thick and shiny. Her eyes, once filled with fear, now radiated joy and trust. She had a place to call home, a family that cherished her, and most importantly, a future that was bright with possibilities. Part 5, A New Beginning. On a warm, sunny day in the park, Bella sat by her new family watching the world go by. She was content, at peace, and finally able to relax. The trauma of her past had not disappeared entirely, but it no longer defined her. She had a new life now, one filled with love, adventure, and, above all, security. As Alex watched from a distance, he smiled. He knew that this story, this rescue, was just one of many. There were countless other dogs out there, waiting for their chance at a better life, just like Bella. He promised to continue his work, knowing that every dog he helped had the potential to change someone's life, just as Bella had changed his. Bella had found her forever home, and in doing so, she had reminded everyone who crossed her path that sometimes the greatest stories are the ones that begin with hope.